Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. You know, I think I could get used to this. XRP, again, is the top performer out of the top 10 coins by market cap, up 2.35%. Everything else is in the red except for Tron, which is number 10 in market cap, which is basically flat, right at very close to zero, like a hair above it. Now, historically, you've been in the community for a few years, you know this. Historically, this is not what you typically see. You see, on days where the market's down, XRP goes down, and then when there's a rebound, it's more tepid for XRP. XRP has been trending down against Bitcoin for a number of years until recently. And I still think this is one of the best kept secrets in crypto. I mean, it's not actually a secret. Like, the data is out there. I just think most people don't know it. But XRP has been outperforming almost all of the top 100 coins for 3 months, including Bitcoin, including ETH. By the time this market cycle's over, it will be proven, I believe, that XRP is just going to substantially outperform Bitcoin and ETH. And this goes against the narrative, right? It's the dino coin. It doesn't make sense to have it in your portfolio, except the charts say otherwise, according to pretty much all of the analysts that I follow. You know, and what's interesting, I'm going to share with you perspective from a couple chart analysts that I'm not particularly familiar with in this video, but I still find it interesting because it seems that they acknowledge, yes, XRP is absolutely going to pump massively to the upside, but they don't seem to like XRP very much, and I always find that fascinating. When people are intellectually honest enough to say, yeah, I don't like this coin, but it's going to be ripping, like the charts don't lie, that catches my attention. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it's 8:37 p.m. Central Time on Monday, September 16th, 2024. XRP at 58 cents. Bitcoin has dropped down to $57,807. And so the market is in fear here. You can see the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, 33 out of 100. Not particularly surprising, but XRP just trending to the upside. You'll love to see it. And this is not what our community has come to expect when we see market conditions like this. But here we are. It just keeps happening. It's not a fluke at this point. It's not some sort of this has been the trend literally for a quarter of a year. And again, people just don't know it, but they're going to know it though. Oh, they're going to find out. They are definitely going to find out. Take a look at this post. This is from chart analyst, the blockchain backer. And he shared this just a couple days ago. He wrote, 6 months ago today, Bitcoin topped. Maybe, just maybe, it requires stock market breadth opening and expansion. And so that is indeed what we've been waiting for, is to see, for instance, the Russell 2000 expand, because you've never seen a proper alt season without that happen. And it's easy to understand why. You know, stocks are risk-on assets, and so are crypto assets. And so if there's sufficient liquidity, then as an appetite for more risk is that increases, you do see people invest money further out the risk curve in the stock market, investing into riskier, smaller cap coins, or stocks rather, in the stock market. But also true in crypto. People will go further out the risk curve, investing not just in Bitcoin, but other large caps and mid caps and small cap coins. And so this is interesting to watch. So the Russell 2000 is the chart on your screen right now, and this is shared by chart analyst Dom at TraderView2. He wrote, Russell 2000 small cap stocks. We have been coiling above July breakout level. Higher highs continue to get put in. Clear resistance being 0.786. I will pretty confidently say if this rolls over, so does crypto, alts, and vice versa. Yeah, so whichever way this goes, don't be surprised when the crypto asset class behaves accordingly. But the good news, of course, as cited here, is that we actually have been seeing higher highs for some time. And usually when we're in situations like this, and I've shared plenty of data on this, even if you throw out the charts, if you just look, what usually happens in situations similar to this, ultimately you do see that expansion in the stock market. The breadth increasing, which, as the blockchain backer accurately points out, is crucial because we've never had an alt season without that indeed occurring. But so I'm just saying, if you look from a historical perspective, in situations like this, do you typically see that, yes, you do, that expansion does occur? Yes, the answer actually is yes. And then there's also this. Whatever you think about the Fed rate cuts, we're going to find out on Wednesday. I'll just say this. It is almost a 100% certainty this is the case. That's what people are expecting anyway, right? And so then there's the question, are you going to see 25 or 50 basis points cut? So that'd be 1/4% or 0.5%. You can debate on that. There's this post from the blockchain backer from a few days ago, and he said, heading into the weekend, the market is completely divided on whether it'll be a 0.25% or 0.5% cut to the Fed funds rate next week. Typically, it's leaning heavily one way or the other by now. It's nearly a coin flip. So it is expected that we're going to get a rate cut for the first time in over a year, and or a change in the federal funds rate in over a year. Then the question is this a good or a bad thing? Now, the last few times there have been rate cuts, it's ultimately been in a situation where you have seen pullbacks and not such fantastic market activity necessarily. Now, it's not always the case, though. It's not a foregone conclusion. There have been plenty of instances throughout history where there have been rate cuts, including in the 80s, and it hasn't resulted in, it hasn't been a sign, rather, of something horrific happening in markets. And it's not that the rate cut itself would even cause that anyway. It's sometimes this is in response to a poor economic situation. And so by the time they do this, even if you don't see everything start to catch on fire immediately, X number of months later, it could indeed happen. So all I'm saying here is it's not a foregone conclusion that if you get a rate cut now, that like the clock has started and we're going to be entering Armageddon soon. Like that's not necessarily what happens. And I'm not pretending to know for sure, but I have read enough from all sorts of reputable figures who think, and not just in crypto, by the way, who think that actually, considering specific macro factors, it's actually more probable that you're not going to see a drop to the downside. So we'll find out together here. But even if everything does catch on fire, it doesn't mean it's instant. It doesn't mean that we can't see the market move to the upside. And it's very clear that speculators want this and will view it as a good thing. So it's not something that's going to spook the market. It will ultimately cause, in all likelihood, investments to increase. And then there's this post from chart analyst Dr. Magic. He said, I don't think we're going to get a 50 basis point cut, again, that's 0.5%, in 2 days. Forecasters are overshooting right now. And to be honest, that's a good thing, because a 50 cut would short-term spook the markets if it was to happen. Yeah, and so the reason that he's speculating that, I think, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm assuming the reason that he would speculate that 0.5% would be viewed as bad is because that dramatic of a cut instantly, that would be the first cut, could be viewed potentially as a sign that things are really bad, we need to take dramatic action. So I think that's why he's speculating that's the case. But still, even if the market did get spooked, if that happened, it doesn't mean that it would persist. Maybe if you get an initial shock, okay, fine. There's also this post from chart analyst Crypto Michael, and he simply said, XRP showing strength while the rest of the market is down, gearing up for a major breakout in the near future. Now, that is just very obviously true. Again, XRP showing strength. That's why I started the video the way that I did, to point out the market's down today, but XRP's not. That is not what you normally see. And you can pick a metric. It's just everything is where you would want it to be and, frankly, expect it to be based on historic precedent. So, stating something like this, there's meat to this. Absolutely there is. So it's just a question of when. If you're asking when's the first major burst going to be, and I never pretend to know the answer to stuff like that. I just want to have exposure when it does happen because I believe it's a virtual inevitability. As soon as you see a proper alt season, which most analysts think is going to be happening sooner than later, XRP is going to be a part of that. So even if we have to wait until that point, fine. But in the meantime, XRP is still outperforming, which is frankly fun to watch, especially having been here for almost 7 years now and understanding that most of XRP's price action during that time hasn't exactly been a lot of fun. I'm ready for it. I'm certainly ready for it. And take a look at this. Here's a post from Max, at Max because BTC. I don't know that I've ever seen this analyst before, but I came across this. And he seems to not be a big fan of XRP, and that's fine. I don't need people to like the same coins as me for me to like or respect them. I just think that they, any argument I've seen against XRP, how it doesn't make sense, especially from a fundamental perspective or for ideological reasons, I just roll my eyes. I'm like, I've never seen a good argument for that. But people are allowed to believe what they believe, and that's fine. People aren't my enemy just because they don't like XRP. especially if they're being intellectually honest about the performance of XRP and what the charts show if they are a chart analyst. And so this guy is a chart analyst, and he wrote the following. He's acknowledging, yeah, well, probably makes sense to have XRP now. He says, I bought a lot of XRP today. Never in a million years would I have thought this would be the case, but the chart never lies. How about that? So I appreciate the intellectual honesty if he indeed is not a fan of XRP or if he thought that it was never going to turn around, but he's just acknowledging what he sees in the chart, and that's what he's sharing. And somebody actually responded to him named the Composite Trader. This is somebody else I'm also not familiar with. I'm not going to read his whole post. It's on your screen if you want to pause here. But he wrote, in part, a sleeping giant could be XRP right now. And he gave some rationale as to why, from a chart perspective. He also stated in this post that he will not be adding XRP to his portfolio. So he's acknowledging it. Okay, XRP could be a sleeping giant, might burst, but he doesn't want it because reasons. And okay, fine. He doesn't have to like the same coins as me. But he's acknowledging, yeah, this could be big. I keep seeing this all over the place, with only one exception. I cannot find an analyst that says XRP isn't going to blast to the upside, unless it's an analyst that has a track record of years and years and years of irrationally hating XRP because of reasons. But anybody that's intellectually honest that I follow is just like, yep, with one exception, which was Alessio Rustani, although he's become a little bit weaker on that stance more recently, so I don't know to what degree he still thinks it's probable XRP is going to be cratering to the downside. But that argument I didn't find compelling. Just take it for what it's worth. And then there's this from chart analyst Captain Fabic. XRP is on the cusp of massive triangle upside breakout. Massive pump is on the way. And the chart on your screen, and so he drew the symmetrical triangle going back to the last market cycle, the peak of the last market cycle in XRP. I mean, you guys know what it got up to, about $2. But I keep seeing the same or similar charts from every analyst under the sun, and they don't normally report on the same stuff, but I keep seeing this because this makes sense. And when I see analysts independently come to the same or similar conclusions, historically, that means that there's a more likely than not odds that what they're expecting is going to happen will indeed happen. And in this case, we're talking about a massive pump for XRP. That's why I love looking at the perspectives from a ton of different chart analysts. There's true value in that, I believe. So are they just all wrong? Because they don't normally agree on anything to this degree, but they do here. That is interesting to me. Speaking of outperformance, here's a post from Dom. He said, chart analyst Dom, and he said, and this is an XRP ETH chart, so XRP priced against ETH. And he says, imagine being an ETH holder and realizing XRP has doubled in value against your coin since June. But I thought this old Dino coin wasn't going to do anything. What are you talking about? Outperforming ETH. You got to be crazy. But here it is. And it's the same story priced against Bitcoin. Here's a post from chart analyst Dr. Magic, XRP/ETH, rising again after breaking out of the triangle I shared, but approaching big resistance soon. The reaction when we get there should tell us what's next on lower time frame. Higher time frame, my thesis doesn't change. XRP will vastly outperform ETH and Bitcoin. And so for years and years and years, that hasn't been the case. But, as I always say, markets find bottoms eventually. And perhaps it is indeed the case that the bottom in June of this year for XRP against ETH and Bitcoin, perhaps that really was the bottom. Although, even if not, again, markets always find a bottom, unless you think something's actually going to zero, but that doesn't make a damn bit of sense when you're talking about XRP, which is one of the most useful cryptocurrencies in the entire asset class. It actually does stuff. It's used in business models. You think that goes away? I don't think so. I sure as hell don't think so. This is such an exciting time, and just, again, the typical person in crypto has no clue what's about to come. And I'm not saying I literally know, but they don't even know what's been happening the last few months with XRP. They're gonna find out, though. They're absolutely gonna find out. And that's why when I see people who are outside of our community talking about XRP's poor performance, I'm like, you haven't even checked in a hot minute, have you? Because I still see stuff like that from reputable figures in crypto, just outside of our community. I'm like, really? XRP's not doing so well, and you think it's not going to do well this market cycle? Well, why are you saying it's not doing well when it's outperforming and has been for a quarter of a year? And I'm just like, well, you're not paying attention. I know you guys know, and I'll keep beating on this point because it's important and it's frankly kind of fun. But it's just going to get better from here. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.